recently we had a small water leak underneath our kitchen counter, and we mopped it up the best we could. We fixed the leak, and we went on about life. A few weeks later, I'm not talking days, I'm talking a few weeks later, I noticed the floor is getting smushy in front of the sink. Now, the leak never hit that floor. It was all underneath the sink in the cabinet. I thought we'd handled it, got everything cleaned up. Pulling back the linoleum, though, showed that the boards were getting wet. Why? Because I dried up the floor in the cabinet. I didn't think about the water that could have already leaked through and got on the floor under the cabinet. And what had happened is that board was soaked. And because it was soaked and there was no air getting to it, there was no way for it to dry out. So instead, that water was spreading through the rest of that board and in turn getting outside of the cabinet and into the rest of the kitchen floor. And thank God we were able to pull the linoleum back. We were able to dry out that board. That board was fine. There's a little board that I'm going to have to replace. But we took a fan, stuck it in the cabinet, pointed it in the hole. After a few days, everything completely dried up. And everything's good. It's sturdy. We checked it. There's a little section that's got to be done. But other than that, it's good. That could have ruined my whole kitchen floor. That could have completely destroyed that area of my kitchen if left unattended. Well, as I was dealing with that, I was like, God, I thought I'd dealt with this already, I thought I'd already cleaned this up. I thought I'd dried it out the best I possibly could. I didn't realize about the underlayer of board that could have gotten wet. It never dawned on me until my floor started becoming smushy. And so it was in that moment God began dealing with me about other areas of my life that maybe I've had them blow up moments. That moment where you completely lose your cool, or you have that meltdown at bedtime and you don't really know why, or you completely fall off your diet and you gorge out on all the sweets you could possibly do. And you're like, I really don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I lost my cool. I don't know why I had that moment. I don't know why I broke down. And you just mop it up. And you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to move forward from here. And you clean the mess up the best you possibly can. And, you do better the next day. You don't gorge out on chocolate. And you suck your emotions back in. And you dry your face. And you go on about life. You might even apologize for the blow up that you had. I'm sorry I lost my cool. I'm sorry I shouldn't have done that. It's out of my character. But it's fine. It's totally fine. Everything's okay. And you just chalk it up to stress or life or a moment or hormones or whatever it is in that moment, and you move on with life. But what ends up happening is you're ignoring the under layer. You're ignoring the deep down, and it soaks through in other areas of your life. And before too long, another area of your life will start to feel smushy, right? You'll start having a moment in that area. And you'll do the same thing if you're not careful. You'll just mop it up and go about life. Chalk it up to stress, chalk it up to the kids, chalk it up to your spouse, or chalk it up to this or that or work. And now you've got a mess. And before too long, that baseboard, that bottom board, that board that's holding it all together, that subfloor begins to deteriorate. And then life comes crashing down. And that's when depression sinks in, or panic attacks start happening, or anxiety takes over, or your marriage falls apart, or your kids notice that mommy's not all there anymore because she is completely fallen into the pit of despair. How do we stop it from getting there? Well, when we have these moments, when we have those blow-ups, when we have those cries for help from the inside of us, that's when we need to stop. That's when we need to ask God, what's going on? I'm not going to chalk this up to stress, God. I'm not going to chalk this up to just life. I want to know what's on the underside of me. What's in the depths of my heart. And then pray that prayer. Purge me, oh Lord. Purge me. Get it out. Whatever it is that is destroying the underlayer of me, whatever it is that is causing this to come up and rise up. Cleanse it. I'm not talking about sin. It might not even be sin. It could be. But it could just be stuff that's happened to you. Stuff that's happened to you that you might not even remember has happened to you, but your subconscious does. And it's causing all these little areas. It's causing all these little things. And God's desire is to heal them, dry them up, to remove them so they're not causing further damage. We just have to take time to actually meditate on God and give Him that opportunity, give Him that chance to dry up the rest of us, to dry up the rest of the water that may have seeped into the areas that we didn't even realize was there. So today, if you are struggling, if there are blow-up moments and they seem to be getting more and more prevalent, if you are feeling more anxious than usual and you're just trying to chalk it up to, well, the holidays are coming or stress is here. Why are the holidays so stressful? Let's get to the root of it. Why? Are you overextending yourself? Is it you're trying to do more than you're supposed to do? Are you trying to prove something to somebody? To yourself even? Where does that come from? Where is the core root of that feeling that you have to be more than what you are? What's the driving behind that? That is the issue. That is the underlayer. That is the subfloor that's gotten soaked by something that's happened. So take time to address that with God. Let Him remove that so you can go forward and be all that you were supposed to do without the heavy weight and baggage and damage that's there. Because when God restores, He doesn't just restore. He does it right. He does it as if it had never even happened. He completely changes and turns us into a new creature. Today, if you're struggling, if you're having those moments, I challenge you, spend time alone with God and just be still and quiet. I've been going through a program and it's EHS, and there are moments where you're just supposed to be still and quiet for 2 minutes in the morning and 2 minutes at night. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot until you actually try to sit still and be quiet. But it's in those moments where God can actually assess the damage that's been done, assess the damage that's in your heart, and reveal to you His peace and joy and healing balm as He restores and transforms and makes you new. So take those moments with Jesus and just say, God, I'm just here for you to purge it, to cleanse it, to remove it, to fix it. I'm in your hand, Potter. Make me the vessel of honor that you desire me to be. And He will meet you there. He will meet you in that moment of brokenness. He will meet you in that moment where you might not even know what's wrong. And He will reveal to you His love in a way that you never imagined. So walk with Jesus a little bit deeper today. Let Him in. Don't gloss it over anymore. It's time.